and away they go now on the start of 2 warm-up laps around the 1.2-mile Brands Indy circuit to warm up for the tyres. Of course, everybody running on slick tyres. Well, Peter Clifford, we're in for a good one here, I think.
Yes, I think we're in for a very thrilling race. It's essential that these riders get 2 laps to warm up because it's very cold here at Brands Hatch, and the slick, no-treaded tyres need to be warmed up properly so that they can be soft and pliable to give the riders grip. We see Rob McElnay there leading Keith Huewen, number 16. Keith Huewen there leading the championship on the Suzuki, following his teammate Rob McElnay.
Well, Rob McElnay, of course, could be a surprise package in this particular race. McElnay, that's Keith Huewen following McElnay. McElnay to the right hand of the picture. Number 19, Rob McElnay, with Keith Huewen behind, both riding for the Heron Suzuki squad. But McElney not had a lot of experience on 2-stroke machines. But the bike he's riding today is, in fact, the ex-Works bike, the 1982 Randy Mamola machine that Barry Sheene raced early on in the year. So McElnay, number 19, going very well indeed on an exotic little bike. There's 19, Rob McElnay. Behind him, though, the man who leads the championship series, the man with an 11-point advantage, and the man really that we expect to do well in this particular battle.
Yes, it's a battle between Keith Huewen and Wayne Gardner for the championship, and of course Rob McElnay will be in there to help his teammate Keith Huewen, both riding for the Suzuki Works team.
And the news from the pits is that Wayne Gardner will not be taking part in this race. So that is very sad news indeed. Gardner, the innocent victim of a tumble after Graham Wood had gone down in the first attempt to run the Shell Oils 500cc championship race. And we understand that Gardner is in fact not fit to ride. And that really is sad news indeed. But Keith Huewen will not have it easy for him. And it looks as though Ron Haslam, there's Ron Haslam in picture at the moment in the pits. He has hurt he's torn a tendon in his foot, and it looks as though Ron is also going to be out of this one too. Well, that really is sad news. So Gardner and Haslam, and in fact we understand that there's a gearbox problem on Haslam's machine, so it's not an injury problem as we first thought, but Ron Haslam out with a gearbox problem. Wayne Gardner out because of injuries received in a tumble earlier this afternoon. And that leaves Keith Huewen, the man in the driving seat, an 11-point advantage. We have people like Barry Sheene, number 7 there in picture on the ex-Randy Mamola, or at least not ex, the Randy Mamola Grand Prix bike. There's Martin Ogborn just having a word with Barry. Martin Ogborn, the team manager of the HB Suzuki Grand Prix squad, a man who's been involved with the Suzuki team for an awful long time, and the man still just moving out of picture there was Ken Fletcher, the Australian who's been with Barry alongside. Number 46 there, neck to the right of Barry Sheene, that's Kevin Rettam, a Luton man who now lives out in Holland, does his work over there. And the rest of the field in action. Away they go. The start of this 15-lapper. The field hurtled towards Paddock Bend, a fearsome downhill right-hand bend, and there's Gary Lingham, number 14, on the Alders of Elton Suzuki. A tremendous start for Gary Lingham, who's right behind Rob McElnay. Well, that was a tremendous performance there from Gary Lingham, a local boy, Butcher's boy. Gary Lingham, number 14, lying second, and Gary Lingham has had some terrible misfortune over the years, but he really wants to do well, and he's putting an awful lot of pressure on the race leader at the moment.
Yes, as they sweep into clearaways, 70 miles an hour, Gary Lingham hard over, his knees scraping the tarmac, accelerating, changing up through the gearbox from 3rd to 4th to 5th, up into 6th gear and 150 miles an hour as Rob McElnay leads the pack across the start line at the end of the first lap.
So McElnay, the race leader, number 19. Behind him, it's number 14, Gary Lingham. The bike that McElnay, 23-year-old Rob McElnay, riding bike number 19, the bike that he's riding is the machine that Barry Sheene has been using all year. In 3rd place at the moment is number 15. In fact, that
Keith Huewen up into 3rd place and Barry Sheene in 4th. Barry Sheene on the Randy Mamola Suzuki already into 4th spot, tailing Keith Huewen, but it's Rob McElnay who leads Lingham second and Hewen closing fast.
And Keith Hewen, in fact, closing visibly there, much quicker, going up into clearways. At the moment, it's McKelney in the lead, Gary Lingham in second place, the privateer on his Suzuki. Keith Hewen, you can see him really accelerate. The Suzuki is much quicker than Lingham's bike, and Hewen is all set to dive through into second place, or is he? No, Lingham closes the door. It's Rob McKelney, number 19, in the lead. Then it's Gary Lingham. Keith Hewen is there in third place, right on his tail, and Barry Sheene, number 7, is in fourth position.
Now that Wayne Gardner is out of this race, there are no more team orders. Rob McElnay is out for a win. It's a clear-cut race. McElnay leads from Lingham second, with Hewen now trying to find his way past the two of them in front.
And that's Steve Parish, riding number 4, is in fifth position at the moment. Out in front, though, Rob McElnay, number 19. Second, Gary Lingham, number 14. Third is number 16, Keith Hewen. And at the moment, down in the 6th place at the moment is number 11, Roger Marshall. But this is the race leader. Race leader in picture now, being chased by Gary Lingham. And Keith Hewen going up Druids. They've done 3 laps in this 15-lap battle, and it's absolutely anybody's race out in front.
Yes, it's McElnay who still leads. Lingham trying to find his way past any side he can. He nearly nips inside as they sweep into 30s. McElnay putting on a tremendous performance here because it's only his second ride on this motorcycle. He rode it at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, but normally he rides the much bigger 1000cc 4-stroke Suzuki. But he's just keeping ahead here as Lingham comes under severe pressure from Hewen.
And again, Hewen much quicker as they come out of clearways onto the Bradham Straight. And out in front is McElnay, but Lingham and Hewen absolutely side by side, but Lingham still hangs on to the advantage. Gary Lingham, who learned to race a motorcycle here at Brands Hatch with the Jeff Crookbane Racing School, knows his way around Brands as well as anyone. McElnay, number 19, 14 is Gary Lingham, number 16 is Keith Hewen, and they are the first 3 men in this race. 4 laps gone.
And Steve Parish has moved past his great mate Barry Sheene into 4th place. Steve Parish on the Suzuki now moved into 4th place. It'll be interesting to see if he can close on the leading trio that are in picture. You can see him now closing. There is Steve Parish leading Barry Sheene. Steve Parish, number 4 there on the Works Yamaha, accelerating over the start line.
That is the leading trio, with Rob McElnay in front and Lingham and Keith Hewen. And Hewen has got the better line this time. Keith Hewen dives through, a brave attempt on the inside, sneaks through and moves across the path of Gary Lingham. So Keith Hewen now follows his Heron Suzuki GB teammate Rob McElnay. Steve Parish is there in 4th place. There's number 19 McElnay, the race leader. Keith Hewen is in 2nd place. Gary Lingham on the older Suzuki is in 3rd spot. Then it's Steve Parish. Behind, there's Steve Parish in 4th place, riding unusually for him, bike number 4. And racing enthusiasts will probably not recognise the leathers and helmet there for Steve Parish, because of course it's a make-believe Kenny Roberts out there. No make-believe about the leader though, Rob McElnay out in front. Keith Hewen, number 16, is in 2nd spot, and number 14, Gary Lingham, is 3rd. But that battle behind the 4th, 5th and 6th place is now bringing them closer and closer to the leading trio. Round Druids.
Yes, it's McElnay who leads, but Roger Marshall's the man who's making up ground. He's in 6th place, closing right up behind Barry Sheene, who is 5th. But that's the leader, Rob McElnay in front, and Gary Lingham tries to go around the outside of Keith Hewen, but just fails to do so.
And Keith Hewen easing out Gary Lingham, and Gary Lingham is there. Keith Hewen, a pillion passenger almost on Rob McElnay. This is the first 3. Rob McElnay in front, Keith Hewen 2nd, Gary Lingham 3rd, 19 from 16 from 14. A reminder that Keith Hewen leads this championship by a clear 11 points. A nasty bump though. Hewen's bike kicks savagely as he goes down Paddock Bend into Druids this time, and Gary Lingham going around the outside. McElnay, Hewen and Gary Lingham. Then it's Parish and Roger Marshall and Barry Sheene battling behind for 4th, 5th and 6th place.
but McElnay totally unable to get away from Hewen here, and Hewen equally is having terrible difficulty getting past. Hewen said this morning that there's really no particular passing place at Brands. You've just got to watch for a gap and dive through it, and that's what he's doing, glued to the back of Rob McElnay's tail here.
Well, it's 6 men broken clear of the rest of the field, and Keith Hewen looking for the inside line again, but Rob McElnay just a little bit quicker round the outside, and Hewen has to settle once again for second place. McElnay, number 19, 23 years of age, from Bregan, South Humberside, man who won the Senior Classic TT in the Isle of Man, so he's no fool on pure road race circuits, and he's proving here today that he's a real road racer. And Gary Lingham is mixing it with the very best of them. They're in third spot, but not having given up hope of winning this one.
Hewen dives through to take the lead there. He just snuck inside McElnay as they swept left into Surtees, and leads as they accelerate through Clearways. A brilliant move by Hewen there. He saw that gap and he dived inside and took it.
And Hewen is considerably quicker than anyone else on the exit from Clearways, so now he's got his nose in front. Can he pull away from Rob McElnay and Gary Lingham? We shall have to see. Keith Hewen, the race leader, Rob McElnay now, and you can see the bike bouncing and chattering on the inside. 9 laps completed in this 15-lap battle.
We've already seen Hewen win runways today, and now he's got a clear road in front of him. He may well get away from those battling behind, but Roger Marshall we saw closed right up behind Barry Sheene. There's McElnay, it's Lingham third, then Steve Parrish, Barry Sheene and Roger Marshall, a tremendous dice for second place.
And these 6 men have pulled open a 15 seconds advantage over the rest of the pack, but this man is out in front. Keith Hewen, the man who leads the MCN Masters Series before today's race started, and the way he's going to win this race as well as the series. Keith Hewen now out in front and going like an express train.
Yes, it's difficult to imagine either Rob McElnay or Gary Lingham being able to catch him. They've had their fair chance and Hewen has got past, but Barry Sheene is the man to watch surely here. He's up there, he's dropped back. Marshall, in fact, is challenging him round the outside. Barry Sheene at the back of this pack with Marshall. He doesn't seem to be able to do very much to stop Hewen either. But there goes Sheene on the Lamola HB Suzuki, the best machine in the race, lighter and better brakes than the others, but he hasn't got much time left to make his move.
Indeed, 2/3 of the distance gone, 10 laps gone, 5 more laps to go, but Barry Sheene is a wily old character, 33 years of age, he's been racing an awful long time, and although he's there in 5th place at the moment on bike number 7, he's well in the picture. This is the 6-man dice for the lead. The man out in front is Keith Hewen. He's now completed 11 laps, 4 more laps to go.
Hewen hits that bump again as they go over Paddock Hill. That's a worrying little bump there. It knocks the wheels off the ground and can cause you problem as McElnay and Lingham try and close again, sweeping as they accelerate down Graham Hill Bend. It's 110-mile-an-hour corner here as Hewen changes into 4th gear, accelerating to 130 miles an hour before he brakes for the left-hander of Surtees, braking hard, sweeping the Suzuki left, knocks it back another gear and brakes again for the 70-mile-an-hour Clearways corner, accelerating out up towards the main straight.
Well, Keith Hewen is out in front, but Rob McElnay is coming under an awful lot of pressure from Gary Lingham. Gary Lingham, a privateer, riding in fact Dennis Pratt's Suzuki, the bike that had been raced all year by the late Bob Smith, tragically killed in an accident at Scarborough a little earlier. There's number 14, Gary Lingham on Dennis Pratt's bike, charging very hard. Lingham is a man, and he goes through into 2nd place. Gary Lingham using his experience and knowledge of Brands Hatch to the fullest. Gary Lingham, the South London butcher, charging through into 2nd place.
Yes, as Lingham kept putting on a superb display there. He'd been quick around Druids all through the race, and he's now used that advantage to nip into 2nd, and he's closed right up on Keith Hewen there as we see them sweep into Clearways, right on Hewen's tail.
Well, if Gary Lingham had the machinery and the help, number 14, Gary Lingham there in 2nd place in the picture. If somebody gave him the help and the bike that he needed, I'm sure he could go on and do great things. He's doing wonderfully well here at the moment, putting a lot of pressure on Keith Hewen. Keith Hewen out in front of the championship, almost in the bag. 13 laps completed now, and Gary Lingham keeps showing Keith Hewen at the front wheel. They're closing up on tail-enders now. One poor man out for a Saturday afternoon drive. He's going to have the fright of his life at any second now as they dive through and round him. And Gary Lingham, in fact, gets the fright. Keith Hewen goes through on the inside. and Gary Lingham and the rest has been balked, and that really could well have cost Gary Lingham any chance of going for the lead. Well, bad luck indeed, but on a short circuit as short as the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, that's something that's just part of racing. Keith Huewen now out in front.
Yes, Huewen certainly got the advantage he needs. He should be able to have, he's got the experience to make this break now. Lingham there, we see him back under pressure from McElnay. Lingham has lost his ground.
Gary Lingham still holding off this pack behind. He may not be in with a chance of catching Keith Huewen now. The time may have run out for him, but he swoops round another rider and he hangs on to second place from the pack that's snapping at his heels. Gary Lingham there, number 14, he's in second place. Gary Lingham, that's the gap between the race leader, number 16, Keith Huewen, and number 14, Gary Lingham. The checkered flag is ready for Keith Huewen. This is the last lap. The checkered flag goes out. Keith Huewen has won the race and the Motorcycle News Masters Series, number 16, Keith Huewen. The man really on form, the winner of the Shallows Championship a little earlier this afternoon, the winner of this race, and of course the series winner. Gary Lingham, a tremendous ride in second place on number 14. Third was number 19, Rob McElnay. Well, a tremendous performance from Keith Huewen, but a very great ride too from Gary Lingham. And Rob McElnay congratulates Roger Marshall. Also gives a bit of a wave. Steve Parrish there, number 4, he gives a wave. And just a repeat of the order at the end of that 15 laps, the winner, number 16, Keith Huewen. Second, number 14, Gary Lingham. Third, number 19, Rob McElnay. Fourth, number 4, Steve Parrish. Fifth, number 11, Roger Marshall. And down in sixth place, number 7, Barry Sheene. But this is the man who did it all for the second time today, and he did it well enough to win the MCN Masters Series.
Yes, a superb ride from Keith there. We just see him unbuckling his helmet, takes off the RI helmet there, brushes his hair back.
Well, Andrew Marriott down there with Keith Huewen.
2 victories. Keith Huewen, what a day for you. 2 victories and the championship. Must feel good.
Yeah, well, it's the end of the year, contract time. Got to do well at this time of the year.
Bike was going really well, wasn't it? But Gary Lingham was trying hard there.
Yeah, well, Gary's obviously got his bike geared dead right. This is under-geared. From the practice we've had this week, we've been down here all week. And the problem is that there were so many punters on the track, you just couldn't get anything right with your bike. And now come race day, we're under-geared and we're pulling sort of 11.5 instead of what we should be pulling.
So what are your plans going to be for next year, or does it depend on this man behind you, Rex White? I mean, you're hoping to stay with Suzuki, aren't you?
Yeah, of course I am, yeah. I've been with Suzuki now for 2 years and I'd like to stay with them if I can for next year. It just depends on Dennis Rowan, who's the MD down there.
And you'd hope to do Grand Prix again?
Oh yeah, for sure we'll be doing Grand Prix, no doubt about it.
Well, Rex, what about this man here? He did well, didn't he?
Fantastic, and he's obviously clinched the championship, which we were hoping he would.
Well, there, with the spoils of victory, Keith Huewen, and Chris, back to you.